laptop, and these kind of things happen. So now we can talk about it, and we have already started, and we talked about this shloka, right? So basically, what happens is that for our kids, right, we are that leader. They are they look towards us, and at least till quite some age, right? You would have noticed 12, 13, 14 years, and in fact beyond that also, they look towards us for guidance, and they think of us as that leader. Have you ever seen that? I mean, if a father smokes, right, and you'll see that the kid may start smoking very early, right, and it'll be very difficult even if the kid takes him to a doctor and tells that, like, doctor, please help my child, he started smoking in such an early stage, right? If the father is smoking, it will be very difficult to take him out of that. If the father is doing something, then probably it will be very difficult for taking them out of that vice, right? I don't know if you have noticed it or not, but that is the kind of thing that usually happens. Okay, so let's go further, and yeah. So what do you think? Okay, the question to all of you: when do you think the parenting begins? When do you think it begins, really? Any thoughts? 9 months, 5 years, 0.1 years, -9 months, yes. Right from birth, okay. What else? Right from birth, everybody is convinced? Yes? Huh? The habits of parents.
Yeah, this is like basically they have their inbuilt habits.
Okay.
The person who is smoking is smoking from long time. Like
Yeah.
just after getting activity, he doesn't start. So it's like from starting, he's having some bad habits. Like even I have some bad habits.
Hmm.
It will continue even if I become a parent.
Yeah. Okay. So you carry your bad habits, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Totally. Yeah. You were saying something. 9 months. Okay. After. When you conceive, since then. Okay.
Since then it starts.
Okay. Starts after you conceive. Right. In fact, I think you're close. I mean, what she said was she was very close. Basically, what happens now, as per scriptures, the parenting starts even before couple start. They decide to conceive a child. Okay. Since then, the parenting starts. And why I said she's close? Because, you know, it's an art. I mean, like, you know, even to conceive a child, it's an art. Okay. See, if you the land has to be fertile, right, before a seed can come out to be a tree, right? If you sow a seed of suppose a apple tree, then you cannot expect bananas to come out of it, right? So there is a elaborate science that shastras talk about, honestly speaking. Okay, they talk about like how to conceive a child and what is the process of doing that, and variety of things. So if you actually I know what kind of example should I give, but basically if people are in passion and things like that, then that is the kind of things will come out. That's what it says. Okay, there are elaborate procedures mentioned, but anyways, I am assuming a lot of you lost that opportunity, but that's okay. Okay, but that's what scriptures talk about, and they talk about, like, you know, how to beget intelligent person, how to beget a ruler kind of a person, and things like that. Those kind of qualities, they talk about it in an elaborate way. And there is a sanskar which is called Garbhadhan sanskar. Okay, can he go out somehow? Is it possible, or you know? So yeah. So basically, bottom line is that, you know, like the Garbhadhan sanskar is a process to get a really mature child. Okay, an intelligent person will land in this earth, not like cats and dogs and, like, you know, things like that. So for that, it requires amount of planning and pre-planning. I mean, I will not go into a detail of all of that, but if any of you want to know about it, we can talk about it, right? But that's an elaborate thing. Right. So if you are intoxicated, if you are full of lust and things like that, do not expect to get a person who's pious and stuff like that. See, you must have heard, right, that there are 8.4 million wombs, 84 lakh yoni hoti hai, right? So what happens is that, and I'm sure you know, right, that we are not this body, we are a soul, right? And these souls, they get attracted to the right womb based on what they are supposed to go through. Okay? There is a law of karma. And what you are supposed to go through, like you're destined to become a more like a teacher types person, then you will choose a womb where you get the right kind of nourishment. Okay, it's all scriptural things, but just to give you an idea about it. Okay, so we'll not go too deep into detail. So basically, bottom line is that what we think is that we'll be able to perfect the child. Now that we've got child, right? Whatever it is, okay, this is our child, and we have to own them, right? Trying to perfect a child, more important is to perfect the relationship with the child. In fact, there's a quote from Dr. Henkel, somebody, right? And he says that that is what we're supposed to do. Because, and we'll talk about it as we go further in this session, you will realize what I mean. Generally, what we do. Okay, I'll tell you what we do. This is one type of parenting. Okay, this is called fly parenting. Okay, so do you know what happens when you are doing a fly parenting? Basically, generally what we do now. Okay, even before that, how many of you have gone through IIT? How many of you have gone to IIT? Anyone? How many of you have gone to MBA in IIM? Nobody? But what do you want your child to do? Do you want him to go to IIT? How many of you want your child to go to IIT? Harvard, why not Harvard, right? That is the problem, right? I mean, if we have not gone to IIT, yeah, no, think big is okay, but these over expectations create a lot of trouble in his life. So I'll tell you a story. What happened is that the child came to home, right, to his parents, and he said, Papa, today the exam results came out, and you know what? The doctor's son failed in the exam. So he said, what about you? So he said, also engineer's son also failed in the exam. He said, okay, fine, but what about you? He said, no, you know what? Also lawyer's son also failed. Okay, fine, what about you? He said, see, if doctor, engineer and lawyer's son failed, what do you think who you are, right? I mean, if I failed, what is the big deal here? So point is that sometimes we over expect. We have to, our parents didn't expect it that much. I don't know about you, but at least the environment where I grew up, my parents were absolutely okay, fine. पढ़ाई करेगा तो ठीक है, नहीं तो शॉप खुलवा देंगे, that's okay. So they were fine with that, and that gave me lot of space to experiment, right? Of course, when I was interested in mathematics and engineering, they were more than willing to help me. Okay, so we should think about it, right? What is our child's desire? Okay, we should think about it. We should talk to them. We should try to understand. Not everybody needs to go to Harvard or MIT and things like that, right? And we are doing good. I mean, all of you are doing good, right? And we have not gone to IITs or IIM as we just not told us, right? So think about it. Does it make sense?
But what if they are lost and they don't know to be, as a parent, it's our responsibility to guide them, maybe, tell them maybe this can be your...
Is that, okay, the question is like, it is our responsibility to guide them, right? What kind of guidance we got?
Not guidance, I will say, but definitely ambitious, okay, you can be engineer, think about it. So actually I would say because of my parents I became engineer because
Yeah.
definitely I didn't know my capability or maybe my talent or so.
Right.
They had believed they have somewhere.
But did they push you? Yeah, you had belief. They had belief on you. No problem in having belief, but
So that gave me a kind of confidence.
Yeah.
I worked hard towards my goal and then I
Yeah.
became a great
I'll tell you some statistics. Basically, around this month of April, May, June, most of the suicide of teenage boys happen, boys and girls. Do you know that? Okay, and most of them happen because when the 10th results come out, 12th results come out, right? Even in IITs, most of the IITs, this suicide happens, right? Think about it, right? So just in the name of guiding them, we may be pressurizing them sometimes. Having faith, telling them that, oh, there is engineering as an option. If you really like it, go for it. But if you're not able to do that, it's okay. We are there with you, right? We may not be giving them that kind of a thing. See, his boy went to IIT and his boy also went to IIT, so you are also supposed to go to IIT. Okay, is that what we are giving them in the name of guiding them? Think about it, right? Sometimes we overdo things. There must be a reason, right? Why these people, I mean, in IIT Hyderabad, I was recently hearing, I think a couple of years back it happened. And that boy, he did suicide in the third year of his college. And why? Because he came second in the class. Okay, that was the reason. And see, that boy was raised like that. You are supposed to come first throughout his entire journey as a student, right? And he came second, he couldn't take it. Okay, so what kind of people are we raising? Are we really think about it, right? I mean, somebody who doesn't become an engineer, aren't they happy in their life? Are they or are they not? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
What if they are lost? They don't know and they're confused.
Yeah.
That situation,
What does it mean by being confused? See, what is the point? Like, what do you mean by what kind of state will that be?
maybe they are good in many things and they are confused what they should, continue
Yeah.
their career or maybe.
Right.
That situation.
Yeah, exactly. See, this is a hypothetical situation, honestly, that they are good at many things and they are not able to choose one of them, right? All of us have some natural inclination. It doesn't come out from our own this thing, right? I want to become a tattoo artist.
Yeah, that's correct. But if they
You
come
ask
to
this
us-
child what do you want to become, he'll tell you.
No, if they come to us and they ask what
Hmm.
I should do,
Yeah.
that is what should do.
So you tell him, go become an engineer, that's fine, right? But that doesn't mean that you pressurize them and expect them to study for 20 hours a day.
They ask in that situation.
Yeah,
Not
of course,
pressure.
of course we are supposed to guide them, right? But we are not supposed to pressurize them, that's all I'm saying. So generally the uber point, I think we are going too deep into specifics, but the uber point is that we are supposed to develop relationship where they can think of us as a friend and seek advice from us, right? And not to pressure them. So anyways, let me talk about different types of parenting. For example, what does a fly do? Fly generally comes and frustrates you, right? It will come fly around you and frustrate you, right? Like asking them, have you done your homework? Have you brushed your teeth? Have you kept things there? Things like that. Have you anybody ever felt this kind of parenting? Okay. I see few hands, few laughs, right? I'm assuming some people do that, right? And there's another kind of parenting which is called a mosquito parenting. Okay, so what do? Mosquitoes, they come and bite you, right? And then there are people who come and criticize us. Okay, see, you got low marks. Look at that son of this boy. They got so high marks, but you got a very low marks, right? Have you ever seen that? Comparing and just biting them, criticizing them that you are so bad, right? And that is called mosquito parenting. Okay, and there is another type which is called the honeybee parenting. And what does honeybee do? Oh, it comes and stings us, right? Stinging means something like discouraging. Okay, so basically, oh, you will not be able to do it. ठीक है, तुमसे नहीं हो पाएगा. You cannot be an engineer. Fine, right? And things like that. Have you seen people discouraging their child themselves, right? So that is another kind of parenting that people do. So generally what happens is always saying bad about child, good at nothing, you will never be successful and things of sorts. Those are the kind of honeybee parenting. And then there is another type of parenting which is called the gardener. Okay, the gardener is somebody who nourishes a plant, right? You take care of a plant and you put the right amount of water, right amount of soil, right amount of nourishment, and make sure that the plant grows, protecting the plant in certain way, and let it take its own shape. Let them become tattoo artists if they want to. Okay, right? Trust me, everybody, happiness is not outside. We think, haven't you seen in your villages and places like that, people are happy? I'm not encouraging you to send them to villages. But what I'm saying is that we as parents, actually because we went into this kind of an environment we are living now, we thought that, okay, we want our child to be of this type. We want them to be in IIT or Harvard or wherever, right? And that is the only way to be successful. That may not be true, okay? I'm assuming some of you or a lot of you must be coming from a humble background where people were happy, they had a lot of time and they used to have fun. Not necessarily, we cannot claim that people with less money are not happy. Okay, but they are doing what they like doing and they are happy about it. Make sense? बहुत heavy हो रहा है क्या? नींद आ रही है? No, it's okay. So far you can handle it. So basically think about it. Just open up. all I'm saying, right? I'm not saying do something like this or like that. Okay, we are the best judge. So first, basically, as I said, right, the what kind of seeds you are sowing, what is the right environment, whether right soil is there, all that has to be thought about. So a gardener mostly thinks like that. Okay, and more than that, you know what, more than that, what the child needs is your time and your love, right? You know, they generally want their parents to spend time, not give them money or a gadget and things like that. Lot of time, I don't know if you have seen ever, there are a lot of people who just give phones to their kids even at a very early age. Okay, I see even 6-year, 7-year kids have these days smartwatches with a SIM card and variety of things, and they are doing some random things with that. Okay, and near around me, but they want your time. That is the most important thing, right? Now, basically, yeah. Any questions so far, by the way? Anything which got triggered with all these discussions that I am doing? ठीक है, चल रहा है अभी तक, okay है? English is okay, Hindi is not okay, whatever. Telugu, I don't know. Sorry about that. Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, what to do if, let's say, we know child should be disciplined,
Yeah.
and we know, right? I mean,
We'll talk about it. So let me come to that. Yeah, we'll come to that. So far, I was just giving an introduction of the subject. Okay. So basically, this is going to go deeper into scriptures beyond this point. I will talk about like what scriptures talk about it, about parenting. Right. So we'll talk about it. Okay. So basically, oops. So this slide that you see, it's a very interesting slide. Basically, this slide talks about consciousness of a child as he grows. Okay, as the child grows, what kind of consciousness that the child has. Okay, so these are basically these things, that the names that you see, they are the subtle covering, or the koshas they are called in Sanskrit. Okay, so all of you know, right? As I said, we are not this body, we are a soul, right? Clear about it so far? If you need help in that, I can help you. But the point is that, if we understand these principles, these koshas, then we can be a very good parent. And let me explain what it means. Okay? So basically, we are not dead matter. We are a soul, and we have these coverings like a onion covering on top of us. Okay? And they develop in different ages. These coverings develop in different ages. Okay? And then they mature, and then a new covering happens, and then that matures and things like that. So one by one, all these coverings become active in a different age, right? So far with me. So the first covering is called Annamaya Kosh. Okay, Annamaya means what? Basically, it manifests in the form of food for childs who are 0 to 5 years of age. Okay, when you are 0 to 5 years, this covering is the most prominent, which is called Annamaya Kosh. Okay, is it boring? You were expecting something else? I don't know. It's okay, fine. Okay. So basically क्या होता है ना? Have you ever noticed कि 0 to 5 years के child को whatever you give him, be it a pencil or a chappal or whatever now, he'll just put it in his mouth, her mouth, right? They will do that, right? So basically, basic pattern at that age is about survival instinct and nourishment instinct, something which is given to us by the material nature. Okay, because that's a small baby and they want to survive. And the baby wants to be nourished, right? So to be nourished and to survive, they need to eat something. So they will start putting something or the other in their mouth, right? It's a natural arrangement. Okay, everything is like a ahar or anna for them. Okay, so इस समय क्या होता है ना कि parents' responsibility is that to give them quality inputs, not just in terms of food, but for all senses. Okay, that is for the kids who are 0 to 5 years of age. What it means is like, what do they see, what they hear, what they feel, okay, and what they eat has to be very closely monitored. We have to give them a very, very quality sensory inputs, right? For example, and also protect them from the negative things, from negative environment, objects, people, situations, and things of sorts. And this is obvious, right? I mean, and you have noticed that, right? In this is the age when the kids grow by touch, by fondling them and things like that, right? They like to be hugged and take them in the this thing, right? So those lap and stuff like that. So those are the kind of things that are expected at that age. And people also like doing that, like chubby cheeks, rosy lips and all that. So people like doing that, and kids also grow by that, right? And topmost is the physical care, that they need that physical care at this age. Okay. And of course you would have seen this thing. Generally what happens in this age although is that we actually give them, I don't know, what do you do when 0 to 5 years of age? What have you done with your child? What do you do usually, generally, in this age? We give them a TV or a phone, right? Right? Chupchap बैठ जाओ, तंग नहीं करो, and things like that, right? अभी I have to go for work, ठीक है? तो what do I do? Okay, there is a crush or a Aya or somebody, let's give it to them. Okay, because I have an office to attend. Now these kids in this age, they do not have any fixed needs. 2 से 5 पे रोना है शाम को बस, right? Not like that, right? They will do whatever they have to do, and they need our time at that point. Make sense? And if you don't do that, then lot of hindrance in their growth is possible. Okay, because they will not be able to bloom the way they are supposed to if they are not given right input in this age, right? So, and basically, and I don't want to go into the crush and these kind of things. How will they take care of your child, right? I mean, of course, what kind of character they have, the competence they have, right? That is itself questionable. The point is that, of course, I mean, if this thing is very important for you, then we have to think, like 0 to 5 years, we have to give them a really quality input, whatever we are doing. Does it make sense? Does it sound like no? I'm not up for that. Okay, so anyways, I mean, see, the problem is that we've seen this, when they go to the court, right, they say Bhagavad Gita pe haath rakh ke kaho jo kahoge, sach kahoge. So that is my problem, okay? If I'm sitting here talking about Bhagavad Gita, I'll speak the truth, whether you like it or you don't like it. I'll nonetheless do that. So sorry about that. So basically, and generally that's what happens, right? I mean, we think यार चुपचाप phone ले लो, TV ले लो, देखते रहो बस, चुपचाप तंग नहीं करो, and lot of things can be spoken about it. In fact, the kind of food that we give now, foods are classified into different types as per scriptures. Okay, the frozen foods are supposed to be in Tamoguna. Okay, and lot of very spicy foods are supposed to be in Rajoguna. Okay, freshly made foods, milk, things like that, those are the kind of things which give them a nutrient which will make them grow up to be a person in Sattva Guna. Now what does Sattva Guna means? These are the people who think about knowledge, okay, and these are the people who are generally happy, content in themselves. Okay, what kind of people we want to grow, right? A person who's always thinking about new things, or a person who's really happy about what they have and then think about the next level, right? With peace also you can grow. It's not required that only with passion you can grow, but that's a topic for some other day, right? So, but if you don't give them that, as I said, you can get into a diseases of mind. Lot of such diseases are possible, and this is all as per scriptures, okay? And parents, of course, parents are in charge at this time, because child totally depends on you. You are the one who can control the child in whichever way you want. Right, up to some extent, sometimes teachers, maybe 5 years, but mostly parents. 99% I would say it's parents, right? And they can do whatever they want to do with the child, right? So then the next stage which comes is called Pranamaya Kosh. And the Pranamaya is basically, there are different kind of life airs that we have. In fact, we have 5 kinds of life airs as per scriptures, okay? And out of that, there is one of them which is called Prana, which is a very prominent life air. Right. And this is the time of their life when the Pranamaya Kosh becomes very active. Okay, and this happens around 5 to 13 years age. Okay, and Prana or the Vayu is Chal, it moves, right? And that is the kind of effect that it has on the child. So 5 to 13 years of age, kids are very active, right? You would have noticed that, and we have noticed in ourselves also, right? They want to constantly play, right? You cannot make them sit even for 5 minutes sometimes, right? 5 to 13 years, they are just running all the time because it's because of the Pranamaya Kosh that is active there. Okay. The worst thing that you can do at this time is to ask them to sit quietly, right? Think about, have you heard the story of little Krishna where Yashoda Maya asks him, binds him with a mortar, right? So that is like the worst punishment that you can give to the child of that age, right? To ask them to sit in one place, right? That is the kind of kids they have, right? It's a big torture for them at that time. So, and again, that is the worst thing that we do at that time is to give them a television, right? And we ask them to don't bother me, because see, this is the time what they need is a physical engagement, okay? But that takes our time. To take them for swimming, for karate, for whatever, for some excursion, it's going to take some time from us, and we don't have that time. So we give them a TV. Okay, go watch that. Don't bother me, right? And that's really a bad thing to do at that age. Don't you agree, right? Because they want to grow. They grow by that exploring things and variety of things that they are trying to do, accomplish, right? So basically, what should be done at this age, and I don't want to go into a lot of bashing of television because you will say that okay, but we'll go to that. But basically what they need before that, what they need at this age is a lot of positive physical engagement. And what it means is that, like, as I said, kabaddi, swimming, and there are 108 things that can be done, right, together, exploring. See, if you ask a kid not of this age, milk कहाँ से आता है, तो क्या बोलेंगे, दूध वाले से आता है, right? They would have never seen a cow being milked really. Maybe some of us would have seen that. If you ask them na कि yeah, kids can go out, and basically there is some kids activity that is going on there. So kids, you can go out.
We have planned some activity for kids. They can come in library.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that's good. Good thing to do. And this is what exactly I was saying, right? I mean, some of these are of that age, and asking them to sit for 2 hours is a torture for them. So let them do some activity. Yeah, I can imagine. I understand. I do these sessions a lot, so I know what they must be going through. So bottom line is that we can give them lot of positive engagements, but that will require some time from us. How many of us have you ever climbed a tree, like a mango tree or something? Any of you, or any tree? Right? Some people, right? How many of your kids have actually climbed such trees? Right? Huh? Yeah, they've never even seen a terrace also, correct? Yeah, flying kites and variety of so many 100 things that can be done with the kids, right? And those kids are really growing to grow into a nice human being like that. But we never bothered to do that. Okay, we just want my kid should go to IIT, that's it, right? And don't bother me, watch TV, watch phone, do whatever. Don't bother me. You need money, okay, fine, I'll give you money, but don't bother me. Think about it, how did we grow? Okay, and what are we giving to our kids? So this session, by now, I don't know how many of you realized, this is not about your child, this is about you. Okay. Okay, so art of parenting is about we becoming a parent, not that our child becoming a nice child who will grow up to become a XYZ, right? A CEO of whatever company. So and talking about television, I know, I mean, if I say too bad things about television, you will come back to me and say that, oh no, television, but it's about education also, right? I mean, they watch educational programs, right? That kind of argument can be given. Or in my phone also, they are watching some nice educational things. But let me ask you a question: how many educational programs really come in TV, and how many of your child, what percentage of their time are they really watching educational programs? Most of the time, what happens there is like a sex, violence, variety of things that is there, right? And on top of it, I don't know if you have ever noticed, but try to notice this. Television actually increases hankering for them. Hankering meaning lot of desires. I want this, I want that. Somebody is watching some American kids playing with toys, and they say, Vlad and Nikki had this toy, so I want this toy, right? Have you ever noticed, right? And this makes them kind of restless for their entire life. In their entire life, they will never be content about things. Think about a situation, right? What is better, getting a Tissot watch? See, you're thinking about getting a Tissot watch, right? And or not having a desire to have the Tissot watch. Which is a better situation to be into? Just to have that Tissot watch, you will be crying, you'll be like fighting lot of battles, right? I mean, like, working hard and looking for promotions or bonus and this and that, and working like a horse throughout your life. And somebody who's content about, okay, fine, watch is supposed to see the time, I have a decent watch and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying that we all should give up all the money that we have, but all I'm saying is the state of mind. This happiness is not outside, okay? And this is for you, all of you, right? This happiness is something which is inside. Okay, a person who's a materialist, he looks for the happiness outside him and always keeps struggling. But a person who's a spiritualist tries to seek that happiness inside and he's content about it, right? So television, of course, I mean, a lot of an entire session can be given to about it, but cravings, dissatisfaction, and lot of such things they get into, right? We cannot expect them to become a person with a good character if that is not what they are seeing, the input they are getting at that time. If they are not getting that, then definitely there is a problem, right? And if it is not taken care of, like, there'll be the kids at this age, if they are not allowed to grow in a proper way, the way they are supposed to grow, then expect them to be grown up to be a people with lot of stress, hankering, and things like that, hypertension and things like that. Okay, expect them to be like that. We all grew up to be like that right now because we are watching too much of TV and laptops and things like that. And probably that is what the direction that we are giving to our kids also. Are you with me? Is it absurd things that I am saying? You don't agree?
Guruji, this is the problem actually.
Yeah.
Considering today's world, both of the parents are working and work also is own expectations.
Yeah.
So when both are working, given the timeline which we have
Yes.
every time,
Yes.
and the kids being at home, they are busy, mom and dad both are having calls, what we do? We give them the phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go and watch TV.
I'll tell you a story. Okay. So there was a person, pretty big short person. He was making a schedule one day. Okay. Like, what all meetings I am supposed to do this week, right? Who all I have to meet, who are the clients, XYZ, all the things. The child came. He asked, "What are you doing, Papa?" He said, "I'm making my schedule." Right? I mean, what are the important things that I have to do and important people that I have to meet? And the child said, "Where do I fit in that, Papa?" Okay, and that kid, the father had a shock. Like, he didn't thought like that. Oh, my kid is important for me. Okay, he never thought like that's how we do, right? We don't think that it is important to give some time to the child because we have brought them into this world, right? There's a responsibility that we have to grow them into a nice individual, and that is the main responsibility. Whether they get into a IIT, become an engineer or not is secondary. Whether they become a good person who can really handle this world in a nice way, okay, and be happy here, right? Don't we want them to be happy, right? We have to give up something for that. We have to think about ways to give that time to them. Don't we give that time to things that we think are important, right? So that's what we have to think about, right? Where should you find time? Nobody has time, of course, right? But we are the ones who are taking up this responsibility of becoming a parent. Then we have to do something about it, right? Okay, all right. Any other questions? Right. So talking about TV a bit more, like, see, we watch TV, right? We watch IPLs and movies and things like that. The kids watch. What kind of people these really are? I mean, that's also itself is sometimes questionable. It's an off-topic thing, but I'm just bringing it up because your kids need real heroes, right? What kind of character these people have? What kind of products are they promoting? What kind of heroes are we giving to them? Okay, and with that, how are they supposed to behave? Looking at them who are, I know I don't talk about some specific people, but you all know, right, what kind of heroes that we have created for us. the movie stars, the cricket players, and all of them, and you know the character of all of them, right? So basically, anyways, so basically that's like, I don't want examples. I'll not get into specifics, but just to give you a thought. Think about what kind of heroes are you giving them, because they want to become like them. Okay, those are they really want to imitate them at times, right? So basically, if this kosha is not taken properly, if this is not taken care of, then expect kids to have some kind of physical deformations, okay, and which will go on in their life throughout their life. They will not grow up to become a strong person, because we all, or some of us, have gone through that, right? Healthy environment where we are playing, where we are looking for cows, and we are playing in the mud, and we are climbing trees and things like that, right? And this is natural, right? We are think of us like thinking of a caveman and getting evolved from here. This body is more tuned to work in the outside world, right? In forest, in natural places and things like that. How much of disconnected we have become, and how much more disconnected we are making our child out of that environment, right? And we expect them to behave normally, grow up to be a normal person, watching TV and phones, which we have never watched, and actually nobody knows what is the effect of watching these things from the age of 1 year or 2 years. I don't know how much research has happened around it, right? So what is going to happen, we don't know. Make sense? Okay. So yeah, and basically in this age now, what happens generally is that school is in control, right? Most of the time, 5 to 13 years is the time when parents are there, but schools, like whatever my teacher says, and like they are able to control. They want to become a good child and in front of the teacher, and if teacher says something bad, then they will not like it, right? And parents' role start reducing a bit. So and every school has a culture. You will see that, like 5 to 13 years, every school has a culture. You go to a specific school, what kind of slangs they use, what kind of whatever, right? All that. Some schools have some kind of a thing, and then kids start picking up that culture also from the schools sometimes. So this is the age when we should start monitoring who are their friends, right? What kind of friends they are keeping, what kind of things are going on in their life. This is the age when these things should start getting monitored, okay? And this is the age for start giving positive engagement till 13, okay? There is a shloka which comes in scripture, and its shloka goes like this, okay? It says, Ladayet panchavarshani, 10 varshani tadayet, prapteshu shodase varshe, putre mitravat acharet. So what it means is that Ladayet panchavarshani, till 5 years of age, you should give lot of lad pyar to the kids. ठीक है, बहुत प्यार से रखना चाहिए. It doesn't mean you spoil them, but at least give them that physical care in the fifth, so that they feel nourished. They have a bond with you. They think of you as your friend and somebody who can protect them. And thus varshani tadya. It says that from 6 to 15 you should discipline them. Okay, somebody asked, right, how to discipline the kids. Like, what should I do? So yeah, till 6 to 15 they are supposed to discipline them. Okay, teach them what is right and wrong. And it says tade, it uses the word called tade. Of course, modern parenting would say, no, don't beat them, but at least discipline them. Whatever, do something about it, right? Make sure they become more disciplined, they know how to behave, right? There are many ways, right? There are 500 ways you can discipline the kids, okay? There are many ways. I mean, like, it depends. It depends what works for your child and what works for you. I mean, as I said, like, even asking them to sit in a place for some time could be a good enough punishment sometimes, right? It depends. Some people take to the way of like, oh, you do this, then I will give you this kind of a model. Either that, but better than that could be to also give them some kind of punishment. It's okay, whichever way. More than that, actually, so we'll talk about it, right? I mean, like, so more than that also is sometimes sitting with them and talking to them, trying to understand. What we do is, now you are lazy, is what we say, right? We should rather think about that, oh, for this boy or girl, right now, the behavior is of laziness. And we can say that you are behaving like a lazy person right now, right? I mean, instead of stamping them that you are a blanket lazy, okay? And talk to them, explain it to them, try to understand their problems. They will open up, okay? Kids, now I feel, at least being a father of 2 sons, that, oh, the kids these ages are like, very advanced, they grow very fast. But I think maybe that might be the case in our ages also. But kids, what I realize in general, interacting with a lot of them, is that they are generally very understanding. They understand. We think that they are just bacha, but they understand. Okay, so talking to them, trying to understand their problems, why they behaved the way they did, what was the repercussions of it, might also help. Okay, it depends. But it is on us. I mean, if it means beating them, if it means explaining things to them, it means doing things to them, the responsibility is on us to discipline them, to tell them what is right and wrong. And then this verse says, Prapte tu shoreshe varshe putre mitravata achret. That as soon as they reach 16, you are supposed to behave like their friends. Okay. But this is only possible if you have done the previous two stages well. Then only you can become a friend to them. But that's what it says. Okay. And the third stage, which starts and which is very interesting, is called Manomaya stage. Okay, so Manomaya stage, it starts from around 13-14 years of age, and it goes till something like 1 or 2 years after marriage. Okay, that is the stage that happens. So that is called Manomaya stage. And this is the time, Manomaya as the name says, right? They are able to, they identify with their mind a lot. And this is the time. Okay, so mind gives them feelings, and life is full of emotion, and this is the age. Okay, around 13, 14. We call it teenage, like that's what they say. But our scriptures talk about it in a very, very detailed way. Okay, so if basically anybody is giving them emotional comfort, then they are their friend. If anybody is giving them emotional discomfort, then they are not their friends. Like that, they start thinking. Okay, like this is the time when they basically also start thinking about that, oh, somebody will come in my life, mostly of opposite sex, always on opposite sex, and then life badal jayegi types. You know, आपने गाना सुना है ऐसा, जाने वो कैसी होगी रे, like, you know, like that. That is how you start, they start thinking after 13 years of age, 13, 14 years of age, right? They think that something as a magical will happen, because this is all emotional going on there. Lot of emotions are going on. Okay, any questions so far? All well? बहुत बोरिंग है, कुछ है क्या बकवास, ऐसा नहीं सोचा था ऐसा होगा, ऐसा नहीं? Okay, ठीक है. So आगे चलते हैं. So basically this is the age when basically now parents are supposed to be very sensitive to them, and they should be and the problem is that na, ki parents don't know how to relate to them at that time, because suddenly something has changed. Till now na, child was in your control a bit, right? And now suddenly they start behaving on their own, they have their own feelings, and you are not able to relate to them, you don't know what to do. Okay, and parents, what they think is this is a sign of rebellion. Okay, that the child says, no, I will not do this type of thing, right? And you think that he is gone rebellious, right? He is not listening to me. Okay, and generally instead of investing in that relationship, they start withdrawing from the relationship. I don't know how many of you have, do you have anybody has child who is like 13 plus years of age? Okay, and then I don't know if you have ever felt that now, ठीक है जैसा भी है छोड़ दो इसको अपने हाल में, right? मतलब सुनता ही नहीं है बात, right? And we start withdrawing from that relationship, and lot of times we also do. I mean, what happens in most of the parents? I'm not saying you will be doing that, but lot of parents, they start constantly nagging them, okay, correcting them, and most of the times well-wishing is not done in a lot of times. In fact, some surveys said that in a day, in such parenting, 70 negative comments come to a child, okay, and 5 positive comments, right? So think about it, and even those 5 positive comments are done in a diplomatic way, more like, you know, you want to get something done from him, so you will say, अच्छा, you know, ऐसा कुछ अच्छे हो आप कर दो थोड़ा सा types thing. Okay, it's more diplomatic comments happen. So as soon as the day starts now, you know, why don't you get up early? Why are you watching out of the window? Why have you put your clothes here? And things like that. Like all those things will start. Whole day for the child, from the morning till the night. Right? That keeps happening whole day. And the kid is bewildered, right? I mean, and as I said, he is this time in a very, very emotional zone. Okay, very, very emotional zone. And basically what happens na ki, if you think about it, na, ki what that child might be thinking at that time, he's thinking basically looking for an ideal person, as I said, right? And with this nagging na, he quickly decides that you are not that person. Okay, whoever is that ideal person, you are not one of them, right? And And basically now, this is the worst thing that can happen to the child at that age. Put yourself in their shoes. Somebody who has not seen the world, but they have emotional desires, some things they want to do in life, and they have lot of rosy things about the world. They don't understand the world very well yet. Okay. And but you start behaving as if you are a grown up, and it's okay, right? I dissociate from you. Okay. And then basically, as I said, child starts looking outside because they think you are not that one, so they will start looking outside for a friend. And then they will find people at times of opposite sex, right? And or even the same sex, they will find some friends whom they can emotionally relate to. But you know what the problem is, that the friends that they find, they are also in Manomaya Kosh. Okay, so they are all a bunch of emotionally charged up individuals, right? Who don't basically highly charged up and exploring kind of people, right? Who want to explore the world. Okay, and just to give a context, like lot of times you see, right, that oh mera bachcha ye kuch bura ho raha hai, like kids are doing smoking, this, that, right, all those things. But we have to understand what is going on with them at that time. Okay, this is what is going on. They want to explore the world, right, and they are emotionally charged up. Whoever helps them, that those people are their friend, and that's how they are trying to explore the world, right? So, and they are ready to explore anything to get some mental satisfaction. And this is a time when the parents, they think are not their friend, is a very risky situation. Okay? So far with me? Make sense? Is it interesting? Is that the kind of thing? Okay, fine. I keep on taking survey. If people are getting bored, we'll do something else. We'll talk about whatever else you want me to talk about, right? So basically, yeah, and basically this is the time now, everything, because now the peers are there, they are all emotionally charged up individuals, everything is decided by the peers. How they walk, how they talk, how they'll make their whatever, gestures, hand gestures, right? What kind of languages should they speak, what should they eat, where should they go, what to wear, all those things are decided by the peers now, right? तो स्कूल्स को तो वो लोग एक पॉकेट में रख लेते हैं और एक पॉकेट में पेरेंट्स को रख लेते हैं, राइट? सो दे डोंट बॉदर अबाउट एनी ऑफ दिस, एंड द फ्रेंड्स एंड peers, they take complete control of them at this age, right? Everything, even minute thing, as I said, right? How should you smile, how should you do this, that, whatever, what kind of hairstyle you should have, everything is controlled by the peers this time, right? And this is a very worst thing that can happen in this age, like really bad thing that can happen in this age, okay? Because they are all charged up people, they can do anything, some random things can happen if not done properly, right? And what they need at this age, this age, what they need is a quality, what should I say, mental engagement. Okay, they need a lot of mental engagement. For example, quality literature, quality projects that they can emotionally get involved in. These are the kind of things that the child needs in this age. Okay, I don't know if you have read some books. There are some lot of hundreds of good books that our literatures are available. I think, like things like Faster Fene, or variety of things. There are so many great books that have been written. Okay, and they need good heroes. I mean, for example, for projects, projects like go and feed the people in orphanage. Okay, something which will give them some emotional engagement, something which they will be able to relate to, right? A big cause in life that they will get, right? These are the kind of things that we don't think about as parents, right? Oh, this is what they really need, because they are emotional, so they need some emotional engagement. And this is a time when something like watching movies and programs, but which help them in their emotional growth, so that they can emotionally grow, right? And giving them right heroes. Right. As I said, the movie, Bollywood, cricket, think about it. Are they the right heroes that they should have? Right. Even forget spiritual side of things. Even material world has lot of great heroes. People like Mahatma Gandhi, George Washington, right? If nothing, fictional characters like Faster Fene, Chanakya, so many of them are great heroes that these people should know about, and they should try to model their behavior. Right. Some people who had some really high character, high competence and things like that. So this is a time to give them some really good books, some really things, movies which we are curated, which we know are really good for their growth, right? Which will give them real things. Okay, even things like Ramayana, Mahabharata. I mean, there are great heroes that you get to hear and see there, right? But not giving them some random Chinese things or American things or whatever. Nothing wrong about Chinese and Americans, but basically, what are we giving them? We have to know what we are giving them, right? So they should be allowed to honestly read broadly and deeply. I mean, like, give them books, some really good books, if possible. Okay, so they should have some good characters, because this is the time when the characters also build. Okay, so think about like what kind of books or movies you are giving them. Okay, and other things which also we have to monitor in this age is like what kind of friends and peers they have, because as I said, they are the ones who take control, right? So if you don't give them right friends, right peers, then they will do random things. And this is the age when you are not, if you are a good parent now, you are not supposed to raise only your child, but also their friends with them. Okay, so think about inviting them to your house sometime, or taking them out somewhere in some place, right? So that all of them can have fun. Try to know about their life, what they are doing, how do they think about, because you are giving away your child to those people, right? Those kids who may or may not be in a right mindset. So think about raising them as a good person also. Okay. So far, all well. Because if it is not done properly, yeah. Yeah. As I said, see, think about what kind of, think about what are you giving them. Are you giving them violence, or you are giving them somebody who's like really, like for example, Pastor Penny, I gave you example, random example, right? Even a fictional character. Yeah, somebody who's like exploring things like that, who's not killing people and stuff like that, right? But even heroes like in Ramayana and Mahabharata and such books, there are so many of them, right? Such great heroes are talked about. You can give some of them as their heroes. People like Mahatma Gandhi, as I gave so many examples, like so many great people, Martin Luther King, so many great people happened in our history, right? Let them know about it, let them understand that these are the real heroes, not the people who are marrying every year, or the people who are taking drugs, or who are whatever, all those things. They are not really the heroes that you should be having, right? Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just my view, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about parenting, father, mother, okay.
Yes.
So today's life, we all are running behind something, money, some target.
Yep.
And the house, maybe some materials,
Yep.
whatever thing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to child, I think first we need to nurture ourselves, as you are saying. It's about husband wife compatibility. We have to take pause, and then as you say, spirituality and discipline. I think I should start from ourselves first.
Of course.
And then I think once we nurture, we know about
Yeah.
ourselves, we should go back like
course.
another time.
That's a good point of view. It's a good thought. It's a good thing that you came to your mind. Yeah.
Like we used to all get up early morning, and then we used to do puja and then
Yeah.
breakfast, and then there was some
Yes.
discipline.
Yes.
And because we seen our mother and father doing all the rituals
Okay.
and then puja and all, so
Yeah.
we were also connected, we are still connected.
Yeah.
So we learned lot of things just by seeing them doing
course,
it.
of course.
Right? So I think when it comes to parenting, it should start from ourselves, I think first.
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
Father, mother,
Yeah,
and couple.
it's a really good thought. See, I'll tell you what, if you actually, this Bhagavad Gita's or things are there, right? If you actually, because I've done this for years, what I know is now, if I go put this kind of a thing, people will say, oh, हमारे बच्चे के लिए दे दीजिए. अगर if I say भगवत गीता क्लास हो रही है, ठीक है, हमारे बच्चे को भेज सकते हैं क्या? Right? And आप ले लीजिए, you also study. No. I mean, time नहीं है, right? But they don't understand that you cannot give what you don't have to your child. Because I, as an external person, will never have that influence on your child, right? But you are the one who's having that influence. You are the one who's giving them that environment, right? That house में जो घर में जो चल रहा है ना, it will make a lot of difference, correct? If parents are fighting, if some,
I cannot all the time correct my children, do this, that, do
Yeah.
because if I am like, somewhere have patience and I know the right thing,
Yeah.
and when it will happen, then I will nurture myself. I take
course.
time for myself. I need spiritual thing, I am connected, I
Yeah.
take
Yes.
yoga, she will
Yeah, yeah.
So
So,
it's easy for me.
of course, that is how it works. So, so I'll tell you my story. Okay. Years back, I mean, my elder child, he was like very small at that time, and somebody he was playing with his friends, and they came. I mean, I wasn't in Hyderabad at that time, and they came and he said like, they had an argument that. So his friend said that God is dead, something like that. And this my child was arguing with them and things like that. There was some small fight. Instead, they were saying कि पहले था God, अभी मर गया, खत्म हो गया. मतलब ऐसा कुछ है नहीं God. And this child was trying to protest and things. Okay. And these are small kids. I was wondering like what to do about that. So what I did is like I said like you bring all your child. I mean we talked to their parents in fact, and we said we are starting a class for these kids. Okay, and all of them can come and we will teach them something. Okay, and we started every week. My wife used to cook. I used to teach them some stories from some scriptures, like this is how this Vishnu incarnation, this happened, that happened, things like that. Some small stories, and whatever they used to ask for, Nana, okay, next week pizza. Okay, pizza will make, things like that. Okay, and they were very happy. In fact, it went on for a couple of months, and in fact, their parents asked us, okay, what are you teaching to our kids? They tell us through so many deep spiritual things these days. Okay, can you also teach us those kind of things? Okay, so what I'm saying is now, of course, I mean, like, you have to think about what you have. Then you have to think about what kind of environment you are creating for your child. Okay, it takes a lot. So right now, maybe few of you, or I don't know, not many, would have gone to, so Nalagandla is where I stay. Okay, and I take Bhagavad Gita classes, and a lot of kids and adults come there. Okay, and the kids who come starts from very small as few months to as big as 17, 18 years, whatever can be called as kids. All age group comes, right? And if you ask even a kid as small as 4 years now, can you recite a shloka? For 10 minutes or half an hour, they can recite a shloka, some shlokas for half an hour also. Okay, they see this every week, and for them this is natural, and they have more clarity about things than us. If somebody is smoking, now they know, oh, this is bad. Okay, and they know a lot of reasoning behind it, what will happen if they are smoking and things like that, right? And that culture has to be given to them. This is not, this is, spirituality is, of course, spirituality is one part of it, but this is, spirituality also teaches us, our Vedic system, now not everybody was used to be a sadhu, okay, but they had right mindset, and that they used to live in a very powerful way. So we can all live powerfully by using our ancient wisdom. We think that it's all about doing a agarbatti and putting a nariyal and things like that. No, it's more than that. Okay, try to open the scriptures sometime, you will find a plethora of information there, like amazing things are out there. Okay, just that there's nobody to tell us about it and we don't have time. Okay, so yes, you can live powerfully. You don't need to go out and watch that 7 habits. You can go read it, but basically you will be amazed that all that thing is borrowed from Bhagavad Gita. Whatever is written there is borrowed from Bhagavad Gita. You'll be amazed. Okay. So anyways, this is a separate topic, but I totally agree with you. We need to get something, and we'll talk about that also.
And I think it should be part of education system as well. So
That's,
that, it may be difficult, but it can be or it should be, I think. Not that difficult.
That's a separate topic of its own. Yeah, that requires some effort, right? So, but at least see, I'll tell you what. We conduct, weekly classes for the kids. Okay, where I am living, and we can start it here also. Where I live, we do it for kids. We do summer camp for kids. We do regular weekly classes for the kids, and variety of activities we do to make sure that they grew up to become a nice individual. Okay, whether they are successful or not, of course we cannot control. We will guide them, but we cannot control that, right? But at least we want them to be a happy individual, right? That is our desire. When they struggle in their life, they should know what is the right and what is wrong. Because if you don't do, like what I am talking about this age now, if nothing is done properly, then they develop suicidal tendencies. Okay, because they get emotionally, this thing, right? Complicated things become emotional for them, and then a lot of kids do their suicide and stuff like that. So we don't want them to get into those situations, right? So we have to give them some right inputs, right heroes, right character, and of course what we don't have, we cannot give them. So we have to develop it ourselves. Okay, yeah, totally agree with that. So then, coming to the next stage, because we have to finish this session and we can keep talking about it. Next stage is called Gyanamay Kosh. Okay. Now Gyanamay Kosh, it's very interesting. So basically, this person, okay, this individual has been into emotions for long. Okay, mostly emotional most of the time, from his school days to college days, and all that happened. And then the idea of their life is like a rosy, cozy life, right? I will find a girl or a boy, and then like I'll be my Prince Charming and variety of things. Like a lot of ideas are there that they have, right? I see some smiling faces. I mean, I'm sure people might be having it. We all grew up like that. So basically, but reality is very different than that, right? There is a job, there is a house, there is a husband and a wife and the kids and so many things and in-laws and so many hundred things are there, right? We never thought about that. And that what happens is that it doesn't take long. I mean, at most 1 year after your marriage, by then all things get shattered for you. Okay. And basically, you come down to reality. And you are like, okay, this is what it is all about. I'm supposed to work day and night and and have fights at home and variety of and so many hundred things. I never thought about it. I just thought like life will be rosy after like because you have seen that movie saying then and they lived happily ever after, right? But it never happened. I've never seen anybody living happily ever after, right? As if that was the last problem they had in their life. So basically, and the problem is that this person is not being trained for this kind of a life. They've never been taught what does it take to live this kind of a life, right? And then they get into trouble, okay? And then basically, two things happen. I mean, one thing is that people close among themselves, thinking that ठीक है सब कुछ बकवास है जैसा है ना करते रहेंगे बस, okay? So ऐसा close हो जाते हैं लोग, ठीक है? And they'll just keep on living their life. Some of us, a lot of us, in fact, might be in that zone right now. Okay, that we have closed up and just we are going through whatever is going on here. Okay, and there is another set of people few people who actually open up and question, why am I suffering? क्या चल रहा है ये सब कुछ, right? Why is it supposed to be like this? Okay, and this is maybe the most philosophical thing that they would have thought, okay? And these people basically they basically as they open up now, this is the beginning of the Gyanamay Kosh. This is the time when they open up and they question and they want to know more. Why am I suffering? Okay, and this is the stage when these people get some pure, nice, real, good people in their life. Then they grow. Okay. The people who can really be their guide and they teach them how to live. Okay. Otherwise, this world is full of bogus gurus, bogus philosophies, bogus ideas about life, and they get into that. For example, so many isms are there, and this is the age when people get into one of those isms. Isms meaning what? Materialism. सिर्फ पैसे कमाने हैं बस लाइफ में बस और कोई लाइफ में कोई एम नहीं है, right? And then your entire life you're just going on earning money and money and money. ठीक है, एक और घर बनाएंगे because you're not able to find happiness anymore what you thought. तो आपको लगता है कि बस और पैसे कमा के happiness मिल जाएगी. Some people get into something like socialism, whatever kind of hedonism. So many kind of isms are there. Okay, and you think कि कुछ लोगों को लगता है कि ठीक है आसपास के लोगों के लिए कुछ social service करेंगे और ये social service is the goal of life. And lot of people start doing that because आपको अभी satisfaction नहीं मिला घर से. Whatever you were thinking now in your life you don't get it. Then you start doing something or the other, and you make your life centered around it. Makes sense? Anybody experienced it? Right? There might be closed ones and open ones, both of them. But open ones are very rare. But point is that कि either ways people get, because if you don't get the right guide at that time, now somebody will tell you कि बस पैसे कमाना है, that is the goal of life. ठीक है, तो फिर ठीक है भाई, हम लग गए पैसे कमाने में और करते ही जा रहे हैं, पता नहीं क्यों पैसे कमा रहे हैं, इतने सारे घर बना के क्या करेंगे कुछ नहीं पता, बट जस्ट कर रहे हैं बस, that's all, right? Everybody is doing like that. अच्छा वो भी कर रहे हैं तो हम भी करते हैं, तो हम भी एक और घर खरीद रहे हैं, right? That's what we are doing without thinking कि क्या होगा 7-10 कार्स लेने से क्या होगा पता नहीं, मतलब ठीक है, right? So that this is the time when people should read Bhagavad Gita actually, okay? Because they get into this kind of a zone ना कि क्या अभी क्या, right? what should I do? This is the time when the scripture should be introduced to people by a right person. If done well, then these people know how to handle this situation. Okay, how to be calm and manage things. But the people don't get it most of the time. Okay, now we are talking about grown-up kids. Okay, so but basically this is reality, right? And all of us go through it. I'm very sure about it. If we don't get anything, a right input at this age now, this is called Gyanmay Kosh. If you don't get the right input, then something called as existential bitterness happens. Because I was asked to speak in English, so I'm speaking in English. अगर किसी को हिंदी में सुनना है तो मैं हिंदी में भी बोल सकता हूँ. But basically existential bitterness happens. And basically क्या होता है ना कि why क्यों जीना ही क्यों, मतलब ये सब क्या है, मतलब फालतू है सब दुनिया. Lot of people do suicide in this age, right? Because सब कुछ बर्बाद हो गया है, मतलब कुछ रह नहीं गया उसके पास, right? So right philosophy, right people should be given in this age to people. With me so far? Okay, make sense? बोरिंग नहीं है ना? ठीक है. सो बेसिकली क्या होता है ना कि उसके बाद एक नेक्स्ट स्टेज होता है जिसको बोलते हैं विज्ञानमय कोश. ओके, अगर इस एज में, इस पीरियड में अगर एक सही गुरु मिल गया, इफ यू फाइंड अ राइट गाइड, right, then you are able to go in the right direction. Otherwise you are stuck. Trust me, right? Those 10 houses that you are building is not going to help you in any ways. It never helped anyone. हमारे घर में पुराने ज़माने में जब फादर रिटायर होते थे ना, तो एक घर बन जाता था ना, तो दे आर लाइक ठीक है, अभी घर बन गया है, बस हो गया, अच्छा तो हो गई घर पे, इट्स ओके, वी कैन रिटायर नाउ. I don't know if any of you felt that like that, right? Now it's like, oh, 5 houses this person has in all the 5 societies nearby. Okay, fine. I mean, like that's how we think. Doesn't matter. It's just that you don't have anything else to do. So you're doing this. That's all. Think about it. Okay, calm down in that race that you're running. Right? It's not required. So it will not help you in any way. So point is that if you then there's next level which is called Vijnanamay Kosh. So what happens is that this is the time by which you have found something. Okay, and if by lucky, and this doesn't happen to everyone, or maybe happen to a lot of people, but you would find something like social service, something like maybe some spiritual engagement, maybe something, or maybe your material friends, like okay, party, right? Something you would have found, some solution you would have found to your problem, because abhi ghar pe to kuch ho nahi na, right? So you would have found that, and when you have found that now, then there is something like a caring, sharing with the like-minded people, right? Those like-minded people, those sharing, caring, and all those things happen. You serve there, right, in the community, whatever you get involved in something. It could be material engagement also, like about earning money also, right? Some stockbrokers are trying to help each other to do something, making money. So all that you are doing, and that is called Vijnanamay Kosh. Okay, and this is the age when you basically, that becomes like your enjoyment. Okay, and that is how you live. Makes sense? And that is the life in the nutshell, honestly. And basically, if you reach this stage called Vijnanamay or Anandamay Kosh, you live a happy, healthy life in some way or the other, in some zone or the other, right? May not be the right zone, but it's okay. Okay, so that's life in the nutshell. And if any of these koshas are not managed properly, then they lead to complication. This is how our world works. Okay, this is our scriptures, all coming from scriptures. Nothing is made up. In fact, I can keep talking about them a lot, but I hope you got the sense of what it is. Any questions? It's okay? Alright. So basically, going further. Yeah. So parenting, coming to parenting, our original topic, it was supposed to be art of parenting, right? So coming to parenting is about giving cultivation, right? It's more like, as I said, right, gardener type of approach has to be taken. So what we have to think about is, what is the seed and what is the soil, right? So it's about cultivating the right seeds. So what it means is that the parent themselves should be self-controlled and righteous, right? If they are not, don't expect to beget a good child, okay? Sunshine is important, right? So sunshine is like, giving the warmth in the relationship. I would suggest that at least 6 hours a week should be given to the child at minimum, no matter what, right? If we do our appointments, our meetings and things like that, we have to figure out at least 6 hours, this is for my child, no matter what happens, right? And what kind of things to do in those 6 hours? at least 4 things. Okay. First thing is called teaching, right? Teaching meaning like, to figure out their behavioral aspects, their attitude aspects, and try to tell them what is the right way to do it. Okay, it's not about nagging or something like that. Spend that quality time, tell them that, you have been lazy there, this is not right, things like that. Okay. The second thing is called problem solving. They must be having some difficulty with their friends, with their neighbors and things like that. Try to solve those problems for them, right? Third thing is planning. And planning is about give them some nice plan to work on. Like, some vision based guidance. Okay, just telling them go become an engineer is not enough, right? Give them guidance around whatever it is, right? I mean, something like that. They have a school project to work on. Let's give them some guidance. Okay, oh, you should improve your communication skills and you can do these 4 things to do it. Things like that. Think about what kind of vision you can give them. Okay, and the fourth thing is called pure spiritual fun, which is something having a fun which is not degrading to the consciousness. Okay, something like singing some song with them, right? Spiritual doesn't always mean that, oh, I have to, right? But you can sing some nice songs together. Let's sing some nice songs. It could be a kirtan, it could be something else, right? Watching some good TV shows together, movies which are good, reading some books together like Ramayana or something like that. That's wonderful thing that I have learned personally. Okay, that giving some amount of time, and that's always possible while the child is going to bed. Read a chapter of some nice book like Ramayana or something like that with them. Okay, they will get a lot of good character in their life. Okay, they'll learn about real heroes. That much time definitely we can give to them. Okay, while they are going to bed and we are about to sleep. Okay, so spend some time reading some good books with them. So these 4 things should definitely be done. Okay. So then, yeah, and then culture at home, like basically, if you go to some homes now, just by looking at a house, you can tell what is wrong. I mean, sometimes I am able to tell what is wrong there at lot of times. If the vibrations of the home are not pure now, like for example, if Dadaji is sitting in a dhoti kurta, if his son is sitting in a Gandhi kapda, and then his son is sitting in a coat tie, and their son is sitting in a whatever, some kind of a whatever, like some modern clothes, things like that. That is how the culture has been degrading for us gradually, right? I mean, if the kid is playing video game whole day, of course he is going to get restless, right? He is always going to be like that, for sure. Be assured about it. This is obvious. But that's what we do to our kids, right? So what kind of culture, what kind of things you are giving them now, it makes a lot of difference. In fact, for example, people quarrel in front of kids, right? Just sometimes take time and have that courage to ask that kid, what did he felt at those moments, right? What did you felt when your parents were fighting, right? What kind of insecurity you felt, right? And what will they feel? Okay, we don't think, because they don't matter at all for us, and we want them to be what we want them to be, right? So if we are out of control, then go take a break. Okay, go to your rooms, spend some time, then come back and talk in a more controlled way in front of the child, because you got them to this world and this is your responsibility now, parents, right? So basically, yeah, some simple things can be done. Like for example, playing some kirtan in a low voice also helps. It does wonders actually. You'll be amazed. Okay, if you play some some nice kirtan in your house, in the background, you will see the positivity in the environment and people are more positive and things like that, right? Small things that can be done here. Okay, so the other thing is called fencing, and fencing is basically protecting them from bad association. Okay, association means bad objects, bad people and bad situation. All these 3 things, think about it. Okay, कि कैसे लोग हैं, कैसे objects हैं, कैसी situations हैं, how are we protecting them? So be careful about it, right? Give them character based training. Think about what kind of character are they, what kind of inputs, because see, these people are like sponge, right? Whatever input you give them, they'll just absorb it. So what input is going in, think about it, because that matters a lot. So be careful about what inputs you are giving. Okay? And the next one is called nurturing. So nurturing is basically about providing them necessities, not luxuries. Okay? Protecting them from harm. Okay, and giving them a loving bond and teaching them what is sadhana, siddhant, sadachar, seva, those kind of good qualities, teaching them about them, right? Giving them some really good values in life which will go on with them throughout their life. Whether they become a great engineer or not, whether they get lot of money or not, but having some good character in their life would help them long way. At least one gift that you can give to them is definitely this much. So we should try to do that. Make sense? Right. Okay. And then, I don't know, anybody knows who is this person? Okay, oh, it's written in the slide. It's Thomas Edison. You know about his parenting, how he was raised? You know, okay. So I'll tell for others, or two people know. Okay. I don't know how to give you mic. But basically, I'll tell the story. It's okay. But I'll tell the story. It's okay to keep it short. So basically, his mother basically got a letter. She got a letter, and she was reading a letter from the school. And then this child came, and he said, "Okay, what are you reading, mother?" She said, like, you know, the school people said that your child is too intelligent to study in this school. We cannot teach him, okay, in this school. So because he's too intelligent. So she said, now what I'm going to do is I'll teach you myself from now on. And she taught him, and he grew up to become a great scientist. And one day when this person was looking in his closet, he found that letter, and he read that letter, and the letter said, your child is like, you know, dumb or something like that, and you know, he cannot be part of, like, you know, of the school. We cannot teach him at all, right? And so we are taking him out of the school. And this was the letter which read. And think about yourself, right? What you would have done if you would have got that letter from the school. Okay, think about it. What would have happened? Okay, so basically, anyways, that's something to think about, right? So basically, let's go further. Okay, and parenting is not about any of this. And I don't know how much time I have, but I don't think I have a lot of time, but I have so much to tell you about, but some other time. So basically, parenting is not about criticizing, right? Comparing, contending, competing, complaining. All of this we do. किसी को लगता है ऐसा करते हैं parents, right? It's not about that. In fact, don't do any of this also. Unethical approach क्या होता है? मतलब कभी कभी हम उल्टे सीधे तरीके से भी ना बच्चों को चुप करा देते हैं, राइट? डोंट डू दैट, ओके? डोंट गिव देम, बिकॉज अगर हमने बच्चे के लिए एक पेंसिल चुरा के लाया ना अपने ऑफिस से, डू नॉट एक्सपेक्ट हिम टू ग्रो अप टू नॉट स्टील थिंग्स और नॉट लाई, राइट? पक्की बात है, अगर आपने चोरी किया ना, छोटा सा पेंसिल भी उसके लिए लेके आया ना, तो फिर वो पक्की बात है कि वो भी ऐसे ही कुछ करने वाला है नेक्स्ट टाइम. Okay. I was going with my 5-year-old child today morning, and I just got reminded of when I talking about it. So उसने मुझे बोला कि पापा मुझे ना वो चाहिए, जो I have this badge, right? So he likes that badge, तो मेरे पास है ऑफिस का. He said मेरे लिए भी एक बैच लेके आओ ऐसा वाला. So he said मुझे नहीं देंगे ऑफिस वाले, they will not give it to me. So he said कि ऐसा बोलना उनको कि टूट गया है आपका बैच, फिर वो दे देंगे और फिर लेके आ जाना. So I told him, no, see, this is wrong, right? Why should we lie? We should not lie, and things like that. He said, okay. So then, then he said, then plain tell them that, you know, कि I need a badge for my child, and then if they give it to you, then bring it for me. Okay, this is the conversation which happened in the morning between me and my child. So if you do some unethical thing, then do not expect your child to grow up to become a strong in character person, right? अगर आपने पेंसिल चोरी की है तो वो कल को जाके कुछ और भी चोरी करेगा, right? Rash foul language. Right? Lot of times we start saying some random things to kids, right? बहुत उल्टी सीधी चीज़ें बोलते हैं, सोचना चाहिए. Frivolity, yelling, quarreling, all those things should not be done. I'll not go into details, but you can keep talking about each of them for a reasonable amount of time, I promise. Okay? I don't know how much time I have, so it's okay. These are another set of things that I got, but I don't know about time. बट ठीक है, एक काम करते हैं, मैं आपको कुछ चीज़ें बताता हूँ. लाइक नंबर 1 कमांडमेंट क्या है पता है? लव योर चाइल्ड अनकंडीशनली. इतना सब बताना पड़ता है, इतनी सिंपल बात क्यों पता है? क्योंकि ना वी वांट आवर किड्स टू गो टू IIT, राइट? अगर वो IIT में नहीं गया तो है ना, अगर उसकी मार्क्स अच्छे नहीं आए तो वट एवर हैपन्स विल वी स्टिल लव हिम. अगर उसका इंटरेस्ट नहीं है बाद में, इफ ही सेज कि मुझे नहीं करना IIT, मुझे तो टैटू आर्टिस्ट बनना है, फिर भी प्यार करेंगे क्या उसको, राइट? So be prepared to love him unconditionally, no matter what happens, right? And make your family a priority. Think about it. See, I'll tell you one thing. We are a soul. इस पे तो आप सब लोग एग्री करते हो ना, या नहीं करता है कोई तो बताइए, मैं आपको बताता हूँ कैसे हम सोल हैं. We'll talk in a scientific way also. I'll give you scientific facts that we are a soul. So basically, if we are a soul ना, तो ये बच्चा आपका नहीं है, ठीक है? ये आपको भगवान ने दिया है और आपको एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी है साथ में, टू ग्रीव हिम एज अ नाइस पर्सन. सो डू नॉट इग्नोर इट. डू नॉट थिंक कि आपके ऑफिस की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. दिस किड्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इज equally if not more important for you. So give that a priority in your life, right? And do not discipline your child when in anger. This is the worst thing we do, right? हम लोग को गुस्सा आ जाता है और उसी समय डिसिप्लिन कर देंगे, उसी समय सही कर देंगे उसे. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is Gita has बोलते हैं कि कर्म करो फल की चिंता मत करो, right? So I'm teaching my daughter the summer vacation is going on. Every day I wanted to get up at 6. It was a good thing, discipline.
Yeah.
And रात में before like for bedtime, I tell her कि cat messages me and morning evening.
Yeah.
And I also get up very early.
Yeah.
So but still she is taking it maybe for granted. Maybe she doesn't want to get up.
What time do you sleep?
I sleep 10:30 around 10:30 11.
10:30, 11. Okay. Do you know how many hours of sleep is required for that child?
7 to 8.
No, that is for you. Yeah, that age child need more amount of sleep, by the way. Just to let you know. हाँ. Yeah. हाँ, तो उसके लिए हम अगर हम so I'll tell you my story. ठीक है, मैं क्या करता हूँ ना, I go to bed very very early. ठीक है, and with me my child kids also, मतलब you know, he'll also go to bed with me, and then he'll wake up on his own early morning. If I don't do that now, then I cannot expect.
10:30 I also sleep. Right?
Yeah.
With her, we talk a lot and then what she has done.
But she's not able to wake up at 6.
Yeah, because maybe her in her mind it's like summer vacation is going on.
Yeah.
And when school is open, then I will get up, but not now.
Yeah, yeah. So then we have to understand sometimes now. Give them that break.
But you know what happens? She gets up 9, 9:30, 10, and the whole schedule, you know, gets spoiled.
Yeah.
So,
9:30, 10 is like, wow, okay. That
now
is
her mind is
late afternoon.
Let me decide.
Yeah.
What I want to do.
Right, right. No, so one suggestion I have is like try कि मतलब she can sleep a bit early, 9 or something like that.
So
That
almost over 1 month. And,
yeah, but give it a try because see, we have to understand, now we have to think about it कि what is going on. Maybe it is about the number of hours they need more sleep. That might be the case. Let's give them a bit more time to sleep.
It's in mind, I think, is summer vacation because when her school will open, she'll get up at 6
Yeah,
and 7.
yeah, yeah.
But I couldn't teach her that discipline. So,
See, sometimes na things get so entangled that they are difficult to sort out in a moment. Like, you know, you want a magic pill, there may not be a magic pill right now. Because the problem na ki, as I said, ki we have that culture, the culture makes a lot of difference. I don't know enough, but I can tell you one thing. 9:30 is like, you know, in lot of places, in lot of houses, 9:30 will not be okay at all. When I was a child ना, तो मेरे घर पे क्या होता था पता है? मेरी दादी, mother, everybody used to be awake at around 4:30 to 5 and working on something. कुछ खटपट शुरू हो जाता था, ठीक है? And then I used to, of course, and my grandfather used to get up around early before it is light is seen. He used to get up and he used to go for walk. And I was a small kid. और उस समय वो मुझे भी बोलते थे चलो. I used to go with him every day morning. And that became such a habit for me ना कि मॉर्निंग सन आने के बाद उठना मैंने फिर कभी देखा ही नहीं आज तक. Right. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So think about it कि मतलब why she is getting this thing. Like just introspect a bit because why is she getting these ideas कि यार it's okay to sleep till 9:30 in the summer vacation. Because summer vacation में आप early morning में बहुत सारा fun कर सकते हो. Right. She can go out, explore the world where it's still not warm, hot. Right.
it's not like you don't talk. I tell her what the advantages you can
Yeah.
get up early, you can go for walks, activities, and she goes.
Yeah.
I will come up for sure tomorrow, but
Yeah. How old is she?
she's 10.
Let's talk about it after this session because it's a very specific topic.
Why I'm saying this, as I say, Gita में बोलते हैं फल कर्म करो फल की चिंता मत करो. Here फल is our discipline.
ये this thing ना, this line of भगवत गीता is mostly misunderstood. अगर ना सिर्फ काम करना ही एम होता है ना, तो गधा हम सबका भगवान होता, राइट? दैट इज नॉट व्हाट दिस सेज. ओके, इट इज वेरी डीप देन आई एम टेलिंग यू. सो as we understand, it's a different topic of its own. What does this mean really? Okay, it's called निष्काम कर्म योग technically, और इसका बहुत deep meaning है, तो उस पर नहीं जाते हैं. बट आई वुड से कि बिकॉज what आप लोग सो जाओगे, मैं तो जागता रहूँगा, बट आप लोग सो जाओगे नहीं तो इतनी लंबी बातें होंगी, ठीक है. सम डे विल टॉक अबाउट इट, डोंट वरी. बट बेसिकली बॉटम लाइन इज कि इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि कर्म करना और फल करना. इट्स मोर अबाउट ना कि अगर आपको इसको थोड़ा प्रैक्टिकली समझना है ना, तो whether she wakes up or not, right, you did your duty, be happy about it. Okay, that's it. Be content about it, that you did your part. Okay, and do not think anything else. Because anyways, see, why कर्म करो और फल की इच्छा नहीं करो? क्योंकि वो फल जो है ना, वो आपके कंट्रोल में है भी नहीं. आपके कंट्रोल में है क्या? आपने बोला, उसने नहीं सुना ना, अभी आप क्या कर लोगे? Then give up that desire to control, to expect that this is what I want.
But as कलयुग ना, हम लोग काम करते तो definitely फल की चिंता करते ही हैं. अभी
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है.
some guys some are like maybe not.
No. That is why we are frustrated now. That is the source of frustration. These desires, these expectations to control our way is the source of frustration for us also. And honestly speaking, you cannot control it. I'll tell you a story from Microsoft. Okay, basically whole year people work thinking इस बार हाइक मिलेगा अच्छा, ठीक है. मेल आया कंपनी का, I don't know how many of you know, they said कि no hike this time. What can you do? Oh, you work with the assumption कि यार हाइक होता है हर साल, नहीं हुआ, क्या कर लोगे, right? You cannot control things anyways. So now if you cannot control now, better to be okay with that situation. That is what this line means. This is what trust me, I promise, if you actually attend what I talk about, one day I'll explain you this completely. Okay, and you'll be completely okay with what I'm saying. Okay, trust me on that. But that's a deeper topic. But bottom line is that कि the source of frustration यही है कि हम लोग expect करते हैं कि हमें ऐसा मिलना चाहिए, ऐसा मिले जरूरी नहीं है. इस दुनिया में कुछ भी नहीं मिला हमको वैसा. हमने एक्सपेक्ट किया था ना, ऐसे पर्सन से शादी होगी जो एकदम प्रिंस चार्मिंग होगा, वाइट हॉर्स में आएगा, थिंग्स लाइक दैट, राइट? आई डोंट नो, राइट? काफ़ी लोग हंस रहे हैं. ओके, और प्रिंसेस चार्मिंग होगी, है ना? सो ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. हमने क्या क्या सोचा था, सोचो, कुछ भी कंट्रोल हुआ क्या हमसे? हमने सोचा था कि ये वाला जॉब लगेगा. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल जब छोटे थे ना, बच्चे थे ना, तो पेरेंट्स ने बोला देखो पढ़ाई करोगे ना अच्छे से तो बस मज़ा ही मज़ा है ना. तो पढ़ाई किया हमने अच्छे से, फिर बोला नहीं मज़ा नहीं आया. फिर बोला नहीं एक बार IIT में चले गए ना तो मज़ा आएगा. फिर IIT में चले गए, फिर भी मज़ा नहीं आया. फिर उन्होंने बोला नहीं देखो अभी शादी हो जाएगी ना, तो शादी होने के बाद आराम है. फिर अभी अकेले हो ना, जॉब लग गई है, लेकिन वो खाने पीने का प्रॉब्लम है. एक बार शादी हो गई तो सब सेटल है. शादी भी हो गई, फिर मज़ा आया क्या? नहीं आया. फिर उन्होंने बोला नहीं एक बार बच्चा हो जाएगा ना तो फिर सब अच्छा हो जाएगा हस्बैंड वाइफ में. फिर बच्चा भी हो गया. फिर बच्चा होने के बाद हुआ कि अरे यार और प्रॉब्लम्स बढ़ गई. फिर पेरेंट्स ने, फिर लोगों ने बोला, आसपास के लोगों ने कि अरे देखो ऐसा है ना, बच्चा एक बार थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया ना तो फिर सब अच्छा हो जाएगा. ठीक है, बच्चा बड़ा भी हो गया, फिर उसके बाद फिर भी मज़ा नहीं आया, राइट? फिर बोलते हैं कि नहीं बच्चे की शादी हो गई ना तो फिर बस सब सेटल है, बहू आ जाएगी, फिर सब नॉर्मल हो जाएगा, है ना? वो भी हो गया, बच्चे की शादी हो गई, फिर उसके बच्चे हो गए. ऐसे दिस इज हाउ लाइफ इज एक्चुअली, एंड यू कैन नॉट कंट्रोल एनीथिंग प्रीटी मच. हैप्पीनेस इज समथिंग विच इज इनसाइड यू. Okay, so we have to be content ourselves also at times. Try to understand that thing you are dealing with now is a different person, and they have their own desires and point of views also at times. So we have to give them that space. It's okay. Make sense? Any questions? Anyone? There's so much to talk about in this topic now that I will not try to cover everything. बट अगर कोई भी सवाल है ना आपका, इनफैक्ट पेरेंटिंग से रिलेटेड या स्पिरिचुअलिटी इन जनरल, एनीथिंग आई एम हैप्पी टू आंसर.
This is like continuation to the question we have asked regarding the nagging point you have mentioned. That how should we deal with them? I mean, kids doesn't listen
Yeah.
to saying it in a proper way
do we think about what kind of relationship we have with that child? See, वो अपने फ्रेंड्स की क्यों सुन लेते हैं और आपकी क्यों नहीं सुनते? ठीक है, what relationship do we have? Do they think of us as their friend, right? Their well wisher, जो उनको कभी रैंडम चीज़ों के लिए भी हेल्प करता है, मतलब कुछ टाइम देता है, उनके साथ मस्ती करता है, ठीक है, उनके साथ उनके फ्रेंड्स को समझता है, उनके लाइफ को समझता है, व्हाट आर दे गोइंग थ्रू, स्कूल में क्या चल रहा है, ये सब क्योंकि आप नहीं समझते हो ना, तो फिर एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं कर सकते कि आप क्योंकि उनके फादर मदर हो तो आपकी बात को मान जाएंगे. इट इज़ नॉट, ऑब्वियसली नॉट पॉसिबल, राइट? थिंक अबाउट योर सेल्फ. कोई एक रैंडम आदमी आके आपको बोलेगा कि ऐसा कर लो तो आप नहीं करोगे ना. बट अगर आपका एक फ्रेंड होगा जो एक क्लोज फ्रेंड होता है ना, जो मतलब एकदम वो बोलेगा तो आप कर लोगे. हमने वो रिलेशनशिप बिल्ड ही नहीं किया. वी शुड ट्राई टू बिल्ड दैट रिलेशनशिप, दैट्स ऑल आई विल से. तो ये नैगिंग की ना ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी शायद. उनको समझेगा कि मतलब, और उनका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू हम समझेंगे तो हो सकता है सम प्लेसेस वी हैव टू गिव अप, सम प्लेसेस दे विल गिव अप, राइट? इट्स अ रिलेशनशिप. दे आर अ पर्सन, दे आर ग्रोइंग पर्सन, राइट? दे थिंक दैट दे आर ग्रोन अप्स एंड वी ऑल्सो थिंक वी आर ग्रोन अप्स, राइट? हमने बात की अभी, ठीक है? वी थिंक वी आर ग्रोन अप्स. Okay, but relationship, see, I told you that quote, right? The most important thing is not to perfect a child, but to perfect the relationship with the child. Because with that you will be able to control them lot better. कभी बैठ के उनसे बातें करके देखोगे क्या चल रहा है उनके साथ. अगर वो आपको आके बताते नहीं है ना कि उनके लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है, जनरली कुछ भी हुआ ना, तो अगर वो आपको नहीं शेयर करते ना तो फिर प्रॉब्लम है. अगर उन्होंने कुछ गलत किया ना, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो, यूट्यूब में एक गलत कुछ चीज़ देखी एंड दे हैव दैट करेज टू टेल इट टू यू, राइट? दे हैव दैट रिलेशनशिप, वो बताएं आपको कि मैंने ऐसा कुछ किया, ठीक है? तो फिर प्रॉब्लम है, राइट? तो फिर आप एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते हो कि आप उनको करेक्ट करोगे. बट हम क्या करते हैं ना, यूट्यूब में कुछ देखा तो बस मतलब डोंट स्टॉप वॉचिंग दैट लाइक दैट, राइट? वी हैव टू टेल देम कि आपकी एज ऐसी है, टेम्पटेशंस कुड बी देयर, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? बट दिस कुड लीड टू लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स फॉर यू, स्टफ लाइक दैट, राइट? और कभी फिर भी उसने आके बोला कि नहीं मैंने देख लिया, फिर भी देन यू हैव टू बी ओके, फाइन, बी सिंपैथेटिक विद देम. इट्स ओके, हर किसी के साथ होता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है? बट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस स्टिल लाइक दैट, ओके? तो जब तक वो फ्रेंडली रिलेशनशिप नहीं होगा ना, सोचना बेकार है कि आप उनको करेक्ट कर लोगे. यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, राइट? ओके, देन दिस नैगिंग विल नॉट बी रिक्वायर्ड. सो वी हैव लॉस्ट लॉट ऑफ टाइम, बट जो भी टाइम बचा है ना उसको यूज़ करना पड़ेगा रिलेशनशिप बिल्डिंग के लिए. वी हैव टू डू समथिंग अबाउट इट. ओके, व्हाट एल्स? एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस? Yeah.
So, in general, I teach my child all the things when he is alone with me.
Yeah.
But now, during this season, he is now maybe with COVID. Now, what I observed is, now, if I get anything him now, he'll say like, they are doing, why their parents are not saying to them anything, why are you saying to me, always why you
Yeah.
all kind of questions are arising
Right.
in the people. So I could not understand how to tell him, what to tell him in that kind of situations, how to make him disciplined.
Yeah. See, think about it. As I said ना कि पहले क्या होता था पता है? It takes a village to raise a child. There is a quote like that. ठीक है? कि एक पूरा गांव लगता है एक बच्चे को बड़ा करने के लिए, है ना? हम लोग क्या है ना, यहाँ पर जिस तरह के इन्वायरमेंट्स में रह रहे हैं ना, वहाँ पे हम अकेले हैं पूरे. We are like totally lost. We don't know. We don't have time. We don't have anybody else. No support system. We have to create that support system. Okay. अगर किसी के as I said ना कि it's not just about raising your child, but it is about raising their friends also. ठीक है? अगर आपको सोचना होगा कि कभी हम उनके फ्रेंड्स को बुलाते हैं, कभी उनके साथ बैठ के कुछ करते हैं, we have that connection with them. We tell their kids also. उनके पेरेंट्स से भी बात करते हैं, राइट? क्योंकि हमको वो इन्वायरमेंट देना होगा अपने बच्चे को, वो फेंसिंग देना होगा जहाँ पे उनके पेरेंट्स, हमारे हम लोग, उनके बच्चे, हमारे बच्चे सब मिल के एक साथ ग्रो कर सकें, राइट? And that is where, that's what I was talking about. So the place from where I am coming from, Nalaganda, where what we doing is like there are bunch of families who meet every week, discuss some spiritual topics, kids get some positive engagement, kids beyond certain age also attend those classes, they also get some lot of this thing, the character is built for them, they get friends with whom, so actually my kids didn't came here right now because there was a birthday of one of the kids there, एंड वो सारे बच्चे एक साथ वहाँ पे बर्थडे सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं. एंड इफ यू सी दैट सेलिब्रेशन, इट्स वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. ओके, इट्स नॉट द यूजुअल बर्थडे सेलिब्रेशन. Okay, but the point is that they are all having fun, and that fun is possible if we give them that environment, that community, okay, of parents, of kids, and all those things. It is required. अकेले बहुत मुश्किल है ये solve करना, right? That is the reality of the world. Yes, I agree. And I told my story, right? I mean, I did that. I invited my kids, friends, so that to make sure कि मैं उनके kids को अगर समझाऊंगा कुछ ना, then they will also, and lot of questions, you will be surprised with those small 5-6 years, no, less than 10-year-old kids, what kind of questions they had. ठीक है, इतना अमेजिंग क्वेश्चंस होते थे ना जो हम लोग कभी पूछते भी नहीं और हम बताने की कोशिश भी नहीं करते, बिकॉज वी डोंट टॉक टू देम. कभी हम उनको एज अ फ्रेंड सोचते ही नहीं है, राइट? सो वी हैव टू थिंक लाइक दैट कि हाउ कैन वी फाइंड दैट कम्युनिटी जहाँ पे हम अपने बच्चों को बड़ा कर सकें, मेक देम अ गुड पर्सन. यू हैव टू थिंक लाइक दैट, राइट? इट कैन नॉट बी सॉल्व्ड अलोन. इट्स अ डिफिकल्ट प्रॉब्लम समटाइम्स. Make sense? See, we have to go back to how we were raised, right? किस तरह का environment होता था, और फिर हम ऐसे grow हुए कि हम लोग यहाँ पर एक अच्छी जगह पे, एक अच्छी community पे रह रहे हैं. We have lot of money. We are like, you know, why that happened? Okay, क्यों हम लोग इतना strong हैं अपने उसमें? Whatever we are able to handle, are we able to provide that to our kids? If not, then what can we do about it? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it is not challenging actually. पता है, अगर फादर मोबाइल लेके बैठा है, मदर मोबाइल लेके बैठी है, तो किड्स भी मोबाइल लेके बैठेंगे, राइट? है ना? एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग काम किया जा सकता है कि एंड दिस इज अ स्लाइटली रिवॉल्यूशनरी थॉट. अगर आप अपने हॉल से टीवी को हटा के कहीं और रख दोगे ना, किसी और रूम में, यू विल सी अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस इन योर लाइफ. यू विल बी अमेज्ड अबाउट इट. आई एम टेलिंग यू, दिस वन सिंगल थिंग विल चेंज देयर लाइफ एंड योर लाइफ. अभी क्या होता है ना, तब बैठ के टीवी का रिमोट लेके ऑन करके बैठ जाते हैं और देख रहे होते हैं सारे के सारे लोग, राइट? और वैसे क्या होगा ना, लोग बैठेंगे हॉल में आके और उनके पास टीवी नहीं होगा, राइट? देन दे विल बी टॉकिंग विथ ईच अदर. एंड दिस स्मॉल थिंग, दिस इज मे बी यू कॉल इट स्पिरिचुअल, यू मे कॉल इट नॉन स्पिरिचुअल, बट दिस विल चेंज देयर लाइफ एंड योर लाइफ. ठीक है, आप लोग बैठ के वो जो टाइम है ना, कुछ फालतू के सास बहू के सीरियल देखने के बजाय बात करोगे, और फिर हम बोलते हैं हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है, राइट? वो टाइम हम उस पर स्पेंड कर सकते हैं, राइट? इट विल चेंज देम अ लॉट. और उनके लिए उस दूसरे रूम में जाके देखना ना अलग से विल बी अ बिट ऑफ अ पेन. ठीक है, तो लोग भी उस रूम में नहीं जाएंगे जल्दी जल्दी. ठीक है, अनलेस दे आर बहुत ही कुछ बड़ी चीज़ देखना है तो लोग नहीं जाएंगे उस रूम में. जस्ट मूव द टीवी फ्रॉम योर हॉल टू सम अदर कॉर्नर रूम. ओके, एज आई सेड ना कि मतलब सी, हम लोग ना इसको शॉर्टकट की तरह लेते हैं और हमने लिया हुआ है, एंड दैट कॉस्ट, दिस इज कॉजिंग दिस पेन. यू टॉक टू अ साइकेट्रिस्ट और समबडी, दे विल टेल यू कि इससे कितने सारे मेंटल इश्यूज क्रिएट होते हैं. पता है, चाइल्ड का जो फोकस, वी वांट देम टू बिकम अ नाइस पर्सन ना, चाइल्ड का फोकस स्पैन वगैरह बहुत, अटेंशन स्पैन बहुत कम हो जाता है. दे आर नॉट एबल टू हैंडल ऑल दिस. मतलब लोग काफ़ी टाइम देर बैठ के वो पढ़ नहीं सकते हैं. ऑल दिस प्रॉब्लम्स हैपन. तो अगर मोबाइल कम करना डेफिनेटली इज रिक्वायर्ड. थिंक अबाउट लाइक यू नो why they need mobile and when. Monitor that. Tell them कि यार इतने hours के लिए ही is okay, right? And why you need it. Like always question why you need it, right? If it is required, then why? Okay. At least we should do that. Because unrestricted mobile kind of things is like very very risky. Because वो क्या जाके क्या देखेंगे nobody knows, right? और different age groups में different random चीज़ें ही देखेंगे. Be assured about it, right? So we have to really be very very restrictive about it for sure. Okay. But more important, most important is our relationship. I'm telling you again and again. अगर वो आपको बता नहीं सकता ना वो चाइल्ड कि मैंने YouTube में क्या देखा था, तो फिर प्रॉब्लम है रिलेशनशिप में. ठीक है, फिर आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. आप कितना भी छुपाओगे ना, वो जाके रात में देखेगा, फिर कभी चादर ओढ़ के देखेगा, कभी किसी और फ्रेंड के घर पे देखेगा, बिकॉज आपका उसका वो रिलेशनशिप है ही नहीं. मेक सेंस? What else? Is it too much to handle? बहुत हो गया आज के लिए. बहुत कुछ है बताने को. मतलब it's not a one thing, a one time affair. In fact, let me tell you a few things after that. So basically, ना, what we are thinking is that as you said, right, कि हम बच्चों के लिए तभी दे सकते हैं जब हमारे पास कुछ होगा, right? So what we are thinking is of starting a series of sessions